Hey guys, I'm Phoenix Rain, and this is another episode of The Female Perspective. Now, today we're going to continue our sexuality and the media conversation. Being that this morning on the news, I saw something that caught my attention and I just had to talk about it. Now, all of us, most of us, grew up with Sesame Street, and now as adults looking back on it, we hear a lot of jokes and innuendos about Bert and Ernie being a gay couple. Now this joke has gone beyond mainstream. It's now actually become a petition. There's a petition online for Bert and Ernie to officially declare themselves a couple and get married. Now, I don't know how everyone else feels about this. I personally couldn't care less if they were life partners, if they were best friends, if they were brothers, if they were roommates. It doesn't matter to me. They're puppets. It's a kid's show. Now, what are you trying to prove here? Are you trying to add an LGBT puppet to Sesame Street so that you can express your acceptance of the LGBT community? Because if that's why you're doing it, I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, these kids that are watching PBS, they're 4, 5, 6, maybe younger. They have no concept of gender, sexuality, attraction. They have no idea what LGBT is. So if you're trying to prove a point, I think you're looking at the wrong demographic here. This petition actually so far, as of right now, has 5,500 signatures. And the people behind the petition are saying that Bert and Ernie getting married would educate America's children about LGBT and make them more tolerable to it. You forcing PBS and Sesame Street to marry two puppets is not going to change children's opinions of gay people or gay couples or the LGBT community. You're going to make them aware of it at a younger age. That's not going to change their own personal opinion. They're going to grow up how they're going to grow up. And if they're going to grow up not liking gays, then you marrying two puppets isn't going to make a freaking difference. Comments on the website where the petition is actually taking place are ranging from all over the place. There's people that agree with it. There's some that don't agree with it. There's people that partially agree with it. Now, if you don't agree with it, then don't sign it. It's just that simple. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old really grasp the concept of sexuality? I personally think that they're pushing this whole LGBT on the younger generation unnecessarily. It's not like teen shows. Like, what if Hannah Montana had a question about her sexuality in one of her episodes? That's different. She's a teenager. Adolescents go through that type of stuff. There's no reason why in elementary school kids should be talking about gay puppets. And at the same time, it's not that gay puppets are wrong. It's just there's a time and a place to discuss such topics, and I don't think elementary school, and especially a show for preschoolers, is really the way to go about it. Some people are saying that we need to just kill the rumor and just get Bert and Ernie separate rooms, or have them separate, like he's gonna move out now because people are saying he's gay. That's not sending the right message either, people. You can't just run away from the fact that everybody thinks you're gay by moving out of your best friend's house. If you guys are best friends, then live together. You've been living together for ages. Who cares what anybody else has to say about it? Now, What Sesame Street originally intended Bert and Ernie to be was best friends. Just to set the record straight here. This is coming straight from Sesame Street. They're saying that Bert and Ernie are just friends. They're best friends. And that their sexual orientation shouldn't even come into the discussion. Bert and Ernie were created to teach preschool kids that people can be good friends with other people who are very different from themselves. Bert and Ernie are two totally different puppets. And they're always getting on each other's nerves. But at the end of the day, they're still best friends. It's all about friendship. They're trying to teach children how to get along with other kids even though they're different. By different, I don't even want to say that a preschooler can be gay. Also, another topic I want to touch upon is sex education in school. Now, there's always been sex education, but as of the past couple of days, it's officially been made mandatory that all middle school and high school kids have to take sex education. I took sex education when I was in the 6th grade. And at that, they didn't teach us about birth control or anything like that. They taught us about STDs, and they taught us about female anatomy and the male anatomy. We saw a video of a girl giving birth, and that was pretty much it. And it took place during gym class. Now, they want to make this where some elementary, middle school, and high school have to sit there and take classes about contraceptives. Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but I wouldn't feel comfortable if my 11-year-old was going to school and he comes home with condoms, because they made sex education mandatory and they're handing out condoms on top of that. Now, the lessons include instructions on how to properly use the condom. Does that mean you have to give my kid a condom to bring home? Are you sending the right message by handing him a condom? Are you telling him, hey, go out there and have sex, since now you know how to use a condom properly? I'm not comfortable with the idea of that at all. Also, yesterday I was talking about sexuality and misconceptions, and one of my viewers actually brought up an interesting question. I was asked if it's just America that's so hypocritical about sexual orientation and so strict about it, or is it other countries also? So I actually took the time to do a little research on that, and what I found was just flat out disgusting and disturbing even. Now, there's places in Africa where not only is it illegal, but it's punishable. For example, Libya, your penalty, you can face up to 5 years in prison just for being gay. The act of being gay in itself. In Morocco, 3 years. South Sudan, up to 10 years in prison. In Ghana, being a male and being gay is illegal, but a female who's a lesbian is perfectly legal. In Kenya, male homosexuals are illegal, and they can face a penalty of up to 14 years in prison. Females, however, is currently legal, but the Prime Minister has changed his mind, and now he wants to say that he's calling for the arrest of all lesbians as well as gay men. So I don't really know what the hell is going on. The entire world seems to have issues when it comes to gay men, but the gay female perspective is still up in the air. In Somaliland, it's illegal for you to be a homosexual. It can even result in expulsion from your own country. You can face life in prison. What's worse, serving a life sentence or being exiled from your own country just for feeling and thinking a certain way? Jamaica also 10 years, but for females it's perfectly legal. Trinidad 25-year prison sentence. In Iraq, surprisingly, male and female homosexuality has been legalized since 2003. Israel has been legalized for both genders since 1963. Saudi Arabia, not only is it illegal, but it's punishable by death or prison or a whipping. Yeah, they'll whip you just because you're gay. I mean, back in the 1800s, 1600s, that would have made sense. You know, they stoned people to death. They burned people they thought were witches to death. But for feeling a certain way, I don't see how that's humane at all. Pakistan, 2 years to life in prison. Surprisingly enough, all countries in Europe are perfectly okay with it. It's legal for both males and females. So, to answer your question, no, it's not just America that has a problem with it. It's everywhere. All over the world. There's ignorance, there's fear, there's anger, violence, there's injustice. It seems to me that it's not accepted anywhere except for Europe and parts of America. So I don't really know what to say about this. I mean, we can't force people to accept it. We can't force people to like it. Can't force people to live with it. But it's still upsetting and disturbing to see that these things are still happening nowadays. This is not the medieval times. This is not old school times. This is the new millennium. So I think, well, I can't really expect much from third world countries and deserts and places like that. They still barely understand their own cultures and religions, much less explore homosexuality. It's upsetting to me. So I think we're just gonna end this here. Tune in for my next episode. I'll be taking some questions from you guys. I don't mean questions about what you want me to talk about, what you want my next video to be. I'm thinking I'm just gonna be an open book. You guys have any questions you want to ask me about myself, who I am, what I like to do, things like that. You guys want to get to know me? Send me some questions. Till then, I'm Phoenix Rain, and this was part 2 of Sexuality in the Media, Female Perspective. Thanks for watching, guys.